You're listening to the Love Over Addiction podcast. Hey, it's Michelle. How are you doing today? How are you? We are in the middle of summer. I've got all the kids home with no camps because of the virus. And honestly, this is going to get ready to throw up a little bit. I'm really enjoying this time. Now, I'm not like some Instagram mom where I'm like doing crafts with my kids. I mean, let's not get crazy here, okay? I don't do that. I love moms that do that, but I am not one of those moms. But I am loving the slower pace. I took up golf, you guys, which is crazy hard. Had no idea, especially for a perfectionist that's very competitive like me. Holy cow. My immediate goal right now is to just hit the ball. Like just making contact from the club to the golf ball is the immediate goal. And talk about humiliating when you're lined up like to hit balls with a bunch of men. And of course I look cute because I'm gonna buy a cute outfit. I mean, come on, what's the whole point and reason for golfing is the little cute golf shoe bag. Love that. And I'm lined up there with a bunch of men and I'm like whiffing every time. Like it's just dirt and, I don't even know what it's called. But so that is my new hobby, which I am thoroughly enjoying, but am incredibly horrible at. We're going to get to addiction because you did not start to listen to this podcast to hear me talk about golf. That is for sure. So let's move into it. Today, I'm going to talk to you about staying or leaving. Now, hang up for just a second. If you're saying, Michelle, I don't have to worry about that. I'm staying. Okay, cool. This is going to help you. If you're convinced that staying in your relationship long-term is what's best for you, or that you don't have an option to leave right now because maybe you can't afford it, or maybe you're still in love with them and you don't want to leave, that's cool. I totally respect that. I never, ever want to be that friend to you that says, why aren't you leaving? I got that when I was married to an addict and it was super annoying. It was like, well, because leaving's hard, and if leaving was easy, everyone would just leave their marriage, but there's 1,000 reasons why I'm not leaving right now. Now, eventually I did end up leaving, but it's still hard. So if you're in the position where you're wanting to stay for whatever reason, no judgment, hear ya, respect it, got it, but I'm going to ask you to do something for me. I'm going to ask you to do some homework, okay? Because we all know that if we want to get better and we want to heal and we want to feel empowered and we want to feel good, that's work. That's just not going to come naturally, without actually diving into some deep stuff. So this is your homework. Your homework is to come up with a plan B for leaving. I know you feel tricked right now, don't you? Because I just told you I'm not going to tell you to leave. I get it. Hear me out. So I have a friend, and she is a wonderful, wonderful friend. And we were walking just this morning around the neighborhood, and she is married. And she's been married for a while. And she's like, I'm not in love with him. And I said, have you ever considered the idea of leaving him? And she said, I have, but I don't even know where I'd begin. And my other friend, we were standing on the side of the lawn in our neighborhood because we stopped walking because this was such an intense conversation. My other friend who was standing with her and I said, you know what? You need to come up with a plan B. Even if you don't execute it, it will make you feel empowered and good that you have the plan. It's just peace of mind, knowing that if you needed to leave or if you wanted to go, you could do it at any moment's notice. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need to go record a podcast just about that, because that is some wise advice. And I think I've mentioned it before to you. I mentioned this actually in great detail in the Stay or Go program. You guys need a plan B. So what does that look like? It looks like if you were to leave, where would you live? It means you grab your keys and your purse, or, if you're a man, grab your wallet, grab your keys, get in the car, and drive around neighborhoods and start looking at homes and neighborhoods that you would consider living in, or getting online and looking at where it is that you would like to go. It means thinking about your money and getting familiar with your finances and going, if I were to plan on going, how could I afford to go? It means having difficult, vulnerable conversations with maybe one or two friends or family members and saying, look, I'm staying because for whatever reason I'm staying, but if I were to leave, would you have my back? Would you mind helping me in this area? Would you help me move out? Or would you give me a place to stay? Or would you consider financially supporting me for a temporary period of time? It means if you have kids, you think, okay, are they in the school that they need to be in? Or is there a school out there that's better for them that I would make happen if I were to leave? And it's also asking yourself for the first time in a really long time, what do you want? What do you want? Now, most of us in this community are midway, like 20s, 30s. No, actually, there's not a lot of 20s. It's mostly 30, 40, and 50-year-olds. But whatever your age is, ask yourself, what do you want the next half of your life to be? What do you want it to look like? So much of our energy is like, I just want them to get sober. Forget that. Forget it. Just forget them, just temporarily. And say, what do I want? Where do I want to go on vacation? What do I want to do with my life? Maybe it means you sit there and you go, I'm planning on staying, but if I ever had to leave, I know that I need to be financially independent. And my dream job is to be a teacher. So I'm going to enroll in college and try and get my degree so that if I ever need to, I can go back to teaching. Or maybe you start going back to teaching whether you leave or stay. But plan B is just important, particularly when you're in a relationship with addiction, because addiction is so unpredictable and it feels like a roller coaster ride. And some days you feel steady and on solid foundation and solid ground. And other days, it feels like everything the rug got ripped underneath you. You experienced an earthquake and the foundation is in shambles, right? And it's crazy that it can feel that extreme. There's not a lot of gray areas in addiction. So everyone, it makes you feel like you're going crazy and everyone might think you're going crazy. You're not. That's just the actual reality of this disease. But it is unpredictable. And so having a plan B is actually very powerful. And you get a plan B by getting knowledge, by researching, by asking yourself questions and going out and digging into your finances and digging into your dreams and digging into your, living situation and what this would look like, your support group, whatever. And then guess what happens when you get that knowledge? You start to feel in control. Isn't that crazy? Knowledge equals control. And I know a lot of self-help books and communities talk about let go of control, let go of control. You know what, guys? We're very different in this community, and this is another way we're very different. I say BS to that. Absolutely BS. When you're living, if you let go of control when you're married to somebody with addiction, that means addiction is running your house and your family. How the heck does that feel? How is that healthy? No. Now you can't control your partner, but you sure as heck can get the knowledge to control your choices. you sure as heck can control your feelings and empower yourself. So get the knowledge of what plan B would practically look like. Write it down if you can. If you can't keep a notebook because you're worried that your partner will find it and flip out, cool. Get Evernote. It's a free app and you can lock it with the password on your phone. Hide it from them, but write it down, get practical. And that way, you know that you are empowered and you always have a plan B in your pocket, even if you never use it. Even if you stay with them for the rest of your life, great, wonderful. But you know that you have choices and options because you've been responsible and you've explored them. And that's the final thought of this podcast today. It is a responsible thing to come up with a plan B, particularly if you have dependents. But it is a self-respecting, responsible thing. You do not need to feel guilty for going around behind their back planning a plan B. You wouldn't have to do a plan B if they were sober. And you had nothing to do with them and their problems with addiction. No fault. They came into this relationship or were in the middle of this relationship and started their addiction. It has nothing to do with you. So you wouldn't have to do this if they didn't bring in this problem. So don't feel guilty. This is you protecting yourself. This is you being a responsible human being. That is it. Plan B. If you guys are in our programs and you're in our secret Facebook group, please share your plan B. If you share it with the group, studies show that you actually are more accountable and you follow through with things. So I love to read your plan Bs. And if you are not in our secret Facebook group, here's what I'm going to say to you. I love you. And if you choose to join our programs or not, I'm still going to love you. And I'm still going to give you this podcast for free. But if finances are the reason why you are not getting detailed, deep help, then two things. One is we have a buy one, give one free. So for every woman that buys a program, we give one away for free. So if you don't have the money, I don't want you to not be able to get the help that you need. You can join our programs still. So you deserve help no matter what your income is. Number two, if you are not joining our program and it's because they are making you feel guilty for not getting help, if they're saying you don't really need this, this isn't that big of a deal, or they make you feel guilty for actually spending time to try and get better. Because remember, guys, addiction doesn't want you to get better. It wants to convince you that staying sick is better for everyone. So if you're not joining the program because you feel guilty, or because you're worried about what they're going to say, or because you feel like it might not be, their drinking might not be that big of a deal and you can have it under control, I say that is a sham and a shame and a lie, and you should not fall for that. You get into our program, you let us love on you, you let us give you friendships and help and support that you need, because you cannot do this alone. Even if you're not a group joiner, fine, let me help you. Let me be the voice in your head that teaches you and tells you that you can do all things and that happiness and joy and freedom and a great freaking life is waiting for you if you just grab the tools that you need. So I'm sorry if that sounds like a sales pitch. I promise you from the bottom of my heart, it's not. I hate sales. But I am going to be your biggest advocate and your loudest voice. And my job is to sit there and tell you, you absolutely deserve help. Absolutely, you need help. And if you're not getting it from our programs, cool, no problem. If you're like, Michelle, nah, not my thing, great. Go make yourself an appointment with a therapist. Go join a group. Go do something. Because you don't have to live the rest of your life feeling like this. You can imagine the rest of your life in such a wonderful, beautiful place. You can get unstuck. And it's only going to happen when you take the very courageous big step of recognizing that you might not have the tools right now to deal with this on your own, and that you got to go out there and it's your job and it's your responsibility to get them and start a new beginning with or without your loved one. Doesn't make a difference, guys. Doesn't make a difference. You can still feel great even if they get sober or not. Okay, that's it. I promise. I'm done. I love you. I am cheering you on. I am rooting for you. And I will talk to you next week.
This podcast is created for your support, encouragement, and entertainment with Michelle's personal thoughts and beliefs. From one woman to another, bonded together by the fact we love someone suffering from addiction. This is not intended as a substitute for therapy or advice from a professional.